My dear people learners, you are once again welcome. I'm still Monica John. Therefore, endeavor to pay maximum attention in this session. Today, we want to look at the other stage of food path. And that stage is going to be harvesting. And when we look at harvesting, we shall not leave food storage away because they are all stages of a village food path. But before we exhaust that also, help me and we move together to the activity that I left with you. And what is that? It is there. There are my 7 questions from number 1 to 7. Help me to move together with you and we go through. The first question was, what is taking? What's your answer? I think, and I'm very sure that you got it right by writing, this is the providing of extra support to plants with weak stems. 2, identify the importance of staking crops with weak stems. 1, it eases harvesting, it eases spraying. Others I gave you, it enables plants to get enough sunlight, and many more. You can write them. Then I asked, define the term mulching. What's mulching? Mulching, mine is Mulching is the covering of topsoil with dry plant materials. Dry plant materials. 2, why should materials for mulching be dry? And the answer, I told you that to prevent them from growing into weeds. 5, how does mulching improve on soil fertility? You remember what I said last time? I said that mulches rot to form humus that improve on soil fertility. In which season is mulching done? In which season is mulching done? Mulching, we say that it is done during a dry season when there is too much sunshine with little or no rainfall at all. Give the major reason why farmers mulch. I told you the major one is to keep water or moisture in the soil. Therefore, let's move again for today's lesson, which is all about harvesting. And what do I expect from you? You'll be able to define the term harvesting. You'll be able to give the methods of harvesting crops. You'll mention the storage facilities that we have, that where we use to store our crops. You'll be able to give the proper storage conditions of different crops. Let's look at the harvesting, and I'm asking, what is harvesting? What does it mean? What do you understand by the term harvesting? Ask your friend or your brother who is just near you there. Yes, I told you when you are thinking, close your eyes and touch your head so that you can meditate on something. Close your eyes like I have done, but from I know it already. Tell me what harvesting means. Compare your answer with mine. What's that? Harvesting is the removal of ready crops from the garden. Ready crops from the garden. How do you know that crops are ready? They are those that produce a good smell when they are ripe. Like, let's say, jackfruit. You can just stand under the tree and say, wow, this jackfruit has some good fruits. Some of them can look at them and see the color. They can become pink, orange, passion fruit. Some passion fruits become yellow. Others are purple. So they are different. So when we talk about ready crops, like bananas, how do you know that banana is ready? Yes, you can look at it with very big fingers and you say, yeah, that one is ready. Let me harvest it. Don't go for young ones that don't have even fruits and say, I'm going to harvest. So what is harvesting? Harvesting is the removal of ready crops from the garden. You can see this. That person is trying to harvest maize. Someone is harvesting bananas. He's very happy. He's going to enjoy because he grew them. Then let's look at methods of harvesting. How do people harvest their crops? How they harvest? They just go to the garden and say, "You banana, calm down. You jackfruit, calm down. Okay, carry yourself to their home." No, there are methods that they use to carry out harvesting. What are they? One, they do what you call cutting. Let's get a panga, cut the banana stem, and to lower down. How do you harvest mangoes? You can do it by hand picking. Others carry out by uprooting. Can you try to mention those crops that can be uprooted as a method of harvesting? For me, I have groundnuts, I have yams, I have Irish potatoes, sweet potatoes, cassava, and many others. Can you try to add on to my list those that can be harvested by cutting? What about plucking? There are those that can be plucked. Then we have digging. There are those that are just dug out. Like I told you, cassava can either uproot or dig it up if the soil is very hard. So let's continue and look at the other section of food storage. Food storage, storing food. One, food storage is the keeping of harvested food safely for future use. Safely for future use. Like now, let's say you have harvested 20 bags of maize. If you harvest 20 bags of maize, are you going to cook all that maize? You harvest 100 bunches of bananas. Are you going to cook all of them? No. We have to look at the ways we can store them so that they can be useful in the future. Okay? So that is when you talk about food storage, we're talking about keeping harvested food safely, purposely for future use. And why do people carry out food storage, or why do people store food? One, for future use. Okay? Already it is clear even in the definition, for future use. They don't keep for fun. Like somebody cannot say, I'm keeping this food for fun. Don't keep it for fun. There must be the major what? Reasons. Yeah. Why do I say for fun? Somebody keeps something, then you start calling friends. Come and see, I stored. Come and see, I stored. That is fun now. But if you leave it there safely, that you will see the best way. Another one is to prevent wastage. Why did people store food? To prevent wastage. If you put there 20 bags of maize and you have not yet stored them very well, you'll find somebody coming, picking them in their hands and throwing them on the compound. Why? He didn't know the reason why he stored those those crops. You just find somebody cooking a very big saucepan. You are only two in the house, or 3 or 4. But somebody cooking a very big saucepan of bananas. Then the following day, you find the bananas on the rubbish pit, or these vehicles that carry rubbish. They are carrying a big, let me say, the other saucepan you prepared, they have carried the whole of it because you couldn't finish it. So why do people store? To prevent wastage. Then another thing is to keep or to get the seeds for future use. To get the seeds for future use. Now, if you keep these crops, like now let's say beans, maize, when you store them properly, you will be able to get seeds for the next season. Instead of getting money and again investing in the seeds, you will just go to the store, pick what you stored, and then you can plant. So those are the 3 reasons, and you can look for more reasons why people keep or store food. And let's look at food storage facilities. Food storage facilities. What are those food storage facilities? What do I mean when I say food storage facilities. These are places or well-organized rooms or small houses where food is kept. Where should we keep that food? Where should we keep the food? That's what we are terming as food storage facilities. So what do I mean when I say food storage facilities? I mean places where our harvested crops can be stored. And what are they? We have one, we have granaries. Like what we are seeing is a granary. Characteristics of a good granary or qualities of a good granary. How should it look? One, it must be raised above the ground. It must be raised above the ground level. Then it must have rat guards. It must have rat guards. Now, it must also have a good roof. It must have a good roof. Now, why should that granary be raised above the ground? Sometimes when it rains, water tries to pass underground, it flows underground. So the moment it finds your granary, when it has not been raised, the water will just seep into the granary. When it seeps into the granary, it will make your crops to rot. It will make some of them germinate. It will make some of them to produce a bad smell. Then another thing, why should it have rat guards? The rat guards prevent rats from entering the granary. Then we have also a place called silos. Silos. S-I-L-O-S. Silos. These are called storage facilities, food storage facilities. Now, let's look at conditions that you can follow when you are carrying out food storing or food storage. One, the seeds. You should make sure that what you are keeping is dry. What you are keeping is dry. And not just dry, but very dry. Why? It will prevent them from germinating. Two, the stores should be well ventilated for proper air circulation. Another one, the roof should not leak. We can say it should have a leak-proof. A leak-proof roof. Then we have, granaries should have rat guards that we have already talked about. Then let's look at ways of preparing food, that is by roasting, boiling, deep frying, steaming, and mingling. Then our last stage, of course, will be eating food. We'll be eating food. You know how to eat food. Now, I have come to the end of my lesson, but you will look at this exercise and put it down. Then when we come, we shall be going through once again. I know you are very good children and you are very attentive and you are following this and you will not forget. Thank you once again. Keep safe.